everyone, welcome again to my channel. Today our topic is about English 10, Quarter 2, Module 1, Lesson 1, entitled Parts and Patterns of Definitions. In this lesson, you will learn to observe correct grammar in making definitions. Specifically, you are expected to identify parts of a definition and use sentence patterns in writing definitions. But before we proceed, kung bago ka pa lang sa channel na to, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and also click the notification bell para palagi kang updated sa aking bagong video. And of course, please share also. Alright, let us start. Read the selection in the box and find out how the author defines anti-life acts. By the way, dapat hawak ninyo ang inyong module and also be ready with your ballpen and paper. Anti-life acts are measures that seek to terminate life willfully and consciously. Abortion is referred to as the termination of pregnancy before the fetus reaches 20 weeks of gestation. Euthanasia connotes the act of causing death painlessly so as to end the suffering of patients who have no chance of recovery. Meanwhile, the act of using force, violence, or threat to demoralize, intimidate, or subjugate others is known as terrorism. Lastly, capital punishment is defined as the death penalty imposed on persons found guilty of major crimes against persons and properties. Now, under what is it? In defining a term, you actually answer the question, what is A? Now, definitions are commonly used in expository writing, such as researches, scientific, and legal texts. It is also used in essays and other text types in order to make ideas and concepts clearer. Full definitions are composed of a term to define, the general class to which the term belongs, and a distinguishing characteristic which separates the term from the other members of the same class. Now, here are the patterns of definitions. Pattern 1, we have term, and this is the part A. And then equal sign refers to the verb is or are. Is defined as, refers to, denotes. While class here refers to the part B of the definition, plus which or that of verb plus ing or noun, by which, for, and verb plus en. Itong verb na may en, ito yung ating participle, past participle. Now, distinguishing characteristics. Ito naman yung part C ng definition. Alright. Here is an example. Freedom is the ability to do what is right. Alright. Now, freedom here is our term. This is the part A. And then is our, this is equivalent to equal sign. And ability is the class, and to do what is right is our distinguishing characteristics. Now, for the part 2, class, ang una muna ay yung part B, ito yung class, and then followed by these phrases, which or that, and then of verb plus ing, ito yung mga verb na mayroong ing, and then o kaya ay noun, and then by which, for, and verb plus en, ito yung mga past participle. And then followed with distinguishing characteristics, ito yung part C. And then equal sign which refers to the verb phrase is or are called, is or are known as, okay. And then the term, ito na yung kung ano ang dinedefine. Okay. Now, example. The ability to do what is right is freedom. Okay. Ability is our class. To do what is right is our distinguishing characteristics. And is here is the equivalent for equal sign. And freedom is our term. This is for pattern 2. Okay. Now, under what's more. Part A. Go back to the definitions of anti-life acts. Fill out the chart below with the parts of each definition. Okay. Under term, we have anti-life acts. For the verb, are class, measures, and distinguishing characteristic is that seek to terminate life willfully and consciously. And then the pattern used here is pattern 1. Okay. Next term, euthanasia. The verb here is connotes. Ito yung nasa module ninyo. Sundan lang ninyo. And then, class is the act. Distinguishing characteristic is of causing death painlessly so as to end the suffering of patients. And the pattern used is pattern 1. Okay. Next term, abortion. The verb here is referred to us. Class, the termination, distinguishing characteristic of pregnancy before the fetus reaches 20 weeks of gestation. And the pattern used is pattern 1. Okay. Another term, terrorism. Verb is known. Class, the act. Distinguishing characteristic, to demoralize, intimidate, or subjugate others. And the pattern used here is pattern number 2. Next, capital punishment. Verb is defined as class, the death penalty. Distinguishing characteristic, imposed on persons found guilty of major crimes against persons and properties. Pattern used, pattern number 1. All right. Now, for the part B. Write D if the sentence is a definition, and in D if it is not a definition. Now, if you answer D, circle the term, define, and then box the class, and underline distinguishing characteristic. All right, let us proceed. Number 1. A square is a polygon that has 4 equal sides. Okay. Answer here is D. This is a definition. Square is our term, polygon is our class, and that has 4 equal sides is our distinguishing characteristics. Okay, number 2. A microscope is needed to conduct experiments with microorganisms. This is not a definition. Bakit hindi? Bakit ito ay not definition? There is no classification. Walang class dito. Pagkatapos ng term, diretso na siya sa distinguishing characteristic. Cannot be considered as definition. Okay. Number 3, scientists work with clearly defined objectives. Okay. This is also not a definition. Kasi walang scientist dito, walang class. Anong classification ng scientist? Dapat merong classification katulad ng scientists are persons or highly educated persons. So, yun ang ano. Yung highly educated persons, yun ang class. And then, tumuloy na siya dito sa distinguishing characteristics. So, kulang siya. Dalawang ano lang ito. Dalawang element lang ang meron dito. Kaya, it cannot be considered as a definition. Okay. Next, photosynthesis is the process by which plants make their own food. All right. This is a definition. First, we have a term, photosynthesis. And then we have the class, the process. And then followed by the distinguishing characteristics by which plants make their own food. Okay, number 5. Understanding human genetics is important in medical sciences. Alright, the answer here is not a definition. Why? Kasi there is no classification. Understanding human genetics. Hindi binanggit ko anong klaseng classification ito. Dumiretso lang siya sa itong distinguishing characteristics. So, 2 elements lang. Okay. Kulang siya ng isang element. Yung class. Alright? Number 6. Her father is a well-known surgeon working in a huge hospital. Okay, the answer here is ND. This is not a definition. Kasi, pagkatapos ng her father, ito ang ating term, wala siyang classification dito. Dumiretso na siya dito sa distinguishing characteristic. Dapat dito, ang kasunod dito ay classification. Say for example, her father, a highly educated person. Ayun. Yung highly educated person, yun ang classification. Okay. Next, number 7. Abortion is illegal in the Philippines. Okay. Now, the answer here is ND. This is not a definition. Kasi again, wala na naman siya ritong class. Dapat may class siya rito. So, for example, abortion is a crime. Yan. Abortion is a crime. Which is illegal in the Philippines. Yung crime, yun ang class. So, yun ang kulang dito. Okay? Kaya ito naging ND. Not a definition. Number 8. Mammals that have backbones are called vertebrates. Okay. Our answer here is D. Why? First, this is our term, vertebrates. And then, this is our class, mammals. And then, followed with this underlined words, ito ang ating distinguishing characteristics. So, kompleto siya. So, this is a definition. Number 9, matter is anything that occupies space and has mass. Alright, this is also a definition. Kasi, meron siyang term, and then class, and then distinguishing characteristics. And number 10, compounds are chemical substances formed by combining elements. Alright, the answer here is D, definition. Why? We have here the term compounds, and then we have also the class chemical substances, and then we have distinguishing characteristics formed by combining elements. So, kompleto ang kanyang parts dito. Okay, so this is a definition. Next. And then part C. Write a full definition from each given set of terms to define, generalizing the class, and distinguishing the characteristics below. Give 2 sentences following the patterns you have learned. Alright. Be ready with your ballpen and paper. Example, triangle. This is the term. Polygon is the class. 3 sides is the distinguishing characteristics. Okay. Pattern 1, a triangle is a polygon that has 3 sides. And then pattern 2, a polygon that has 3 sides is called a triangle. Okay. Now, let us proceed to number 1. Chair ang ating term, and then class is furniture, and then distinguishing characteristic is used for sitting. Pattern 1, answer. Chair is a furniture that is used for sitting. For pattern 2, a furniture that is used for sitting is chair. Okay. Next, just pause the video if you want to copy, and then let us proceed. Number 2, haiku for term, a poem for class, and composed of 17 syllables in 3 lines for distinguishing characteristics. Pattern 1, haiku is a poem composed of 17 syllables in 3 lines. Pattern 2, a poem composed of 17 syllables is haiku. Okay. Number 3, semantics, the science, and then deals with meaning in language. Pattern 1, semantics is a science that deals with meaning in language. Pattern 2, the science that deals with meaning in language is semantics. Okay, number 4. Term is thermometer. Class is an instrument. Distinguishing characteristic is used to measure temperature. Pattern 1. Thermometer is an instrument used to measure temperature. Pattern 2. An instrument used to measure temperature is thermometer. Okay, number 5. Term, playwright. Class, a person. Distinguishing characteristics is writes place. Okay, writes place. Pattern 1. Playwright is a person who writes plays. Pattern 2. A person who writes plays is a playwright. Okay. Now, under what I can do. Love, humility, wisdom, faith, or perseverance. Choose the virtue which you think is the most important. Using the table, provide the class to where it belongs and the distinguishing characteristic that separates it from the rest. Then, write a definition of the word using the two patterns. Alright. I choose here this word love. Okay. Class, an intense feeling, and distinguishing characteristics is of deep romantic attachment to someone. Wala ito sa inyong module. Wala itong sagot. So, just try to copy it. Jot down this answer. Okay. Full definition. Pattern 1. Love is an intense feeling of deep romantic attachment to someone. Okay. Pattern 2. An intense feeling of deep romantic attachment to someone is love. Okay, I hope you have learned something in this video. Watch out for my other videos about modules for the second quarter. And thank you very much for watching. See you again.